Hi, my name is Jaeden Roussey, and my presentation is about the race against nature. So, just to do a brief summary, pretty much of what my presentation is going to be about, it's basically about coronavirus slash COVID-19 and its effect on the African American community specifically, and how they've been getting hit harder more than any other ethnicity within America, and why I feel like this is a problem that's been swept under the rug as of recently, and why and what some specific numbers that we could look at, and what I think we could do as a nation to help prevent this problem from happening again in the future, and to start working on that problem right now. So to begin, I wanted to talk about the problem, and basically, the specific problem that I'm talking about is the obviously the coronavirus and its effect on African Americans specifically. Um, African Americans have been getting hit the hardest throughout America due to COVID-19. They have the highest death toll and have the highest hospitalization rate. And I'll get into the specific numbers later to talk more about those statistics. But that's just the overall problem in general, is that coronavirus has been unfortunately hitting and killing a lot more African Americans than any other ethnicity slash race in America. But the overall problem, in my opinion, is racism, and I'll also get to this in just a couple slides, where I think there's an underlying connection between racism and coronavirus. But basically, African Americans have been in a situation where they've been behind mainly white people throughout the entirety of America's lifespan. And I feel like being a lot of them being behind has hindered their ability, obviously, in communities to get help for coronavirus, because a lot of them are stuck in cycles of just being in small, poor, rural African American communities, because they've always been stuck there and behind white people, because they've always faced discrimination and faced pushback once they try to make an effort to do something. And I feel like just recently, or just over the few years, we've, as a nation, have realized that and have attempted so hard to start to make a change for that. And that is awesome. But to this point, a lot of African Americans, some people still think that, they're equal now and everything because of the 1960s and all the civil rights movement stuff. I mean, that's just not true. As we see to this day with police brutality, Black Lives Matter, all that stuff, it's just not true. A lot of African Americans are still discriminated to this day. And I feel like that is the overall problem, is that this racism and discrimination has put them in a spot where they are behind most other minority groups in America. So they don't have, one, the funds, or two, the support to actually help get them through situations like this, where coronavirus can hit them so hard and leave them in such a painful state. So, with that being said, I want to talk about some actual numbers from the coronavirus effect. And here I have a chart with the COVID-19's devastating impact on African Americans. And as you can see here, there's a few states and then the city of Chicago on this chart. I'm just going to highlight a couple of them. So, the first one I want to talk about is Louisiana. And African Americans are 32% of Louisiana's population, yet there are 70% of the COVID-19 death rate there. And then in Chicago, they are 30% of the population, yet they are 69% of the death rate in Chicago. And with these numbers, I just don't understand how this isn't a bigger conversation within the government or even the media, because that is just mind boggling to me, how they are not even half of the state's population in Louisiana's case, yet they are more than half of the state's death rates. Like, this is from Statista got this from the CDC. I don't understand. To me, I don't understand how this isn't more of a problem with the CDC and government, and why they haven't brought this to the government's realization yet. But like I said, I was going to talk more about the underlying connection between racism and coronavirus. And basically, like I said, a lot of African Americans have unfortunately been put in a situation, in a cycle of where they are behind, specifically white people in America, because they always have been throughout our nation's lifespan, because of slavery, racism, bigotry, discrimination. All that stuff has put them in a spot where they've always been behind and seen as second class to white people, and to people who are not necessarily racist like me. I'm not a racist, and a lot of America isn't racist. That is a big problem. But to other people who are racist and don't really see it